Hello and welcome to all. From the incredible and ingenious Hyperloop system for fish to the surprising and unusual flying hammock through a Taiwanese massage more than special, here are the 15 sequences that you will see for the first time in your life. Let's start. Generally, frozen fish is not very good in terms of taste and can in no way compete with good fresh fish just out of the ocean. But what about a frozen fish which would become fresh again just by dipping it in the water? If you think World Revealed is laughing at you, watch this incredible footage and you'll know for sure that it's not. This surreal video shows us a fish totally frozen up to the bones, which will literally come back to life after a little bath in water. As you can see, the fish is so frozen that it has become as hard as a block of ice, and even its glassy eyes are covered by a veil of ice. But once plunged into a basin filled with water at room temperature, this poor frozen fish will start to wriggle its fins, and then little by little, it will come back to life. On this sequence, subscribers, you will notice with amazement that monkeys are not only excellent swimmers, but also skilled divers. Watch how easily these primates move underwater, swimming confidently among the fish. Living near the coast, these dexterous monkeys have developed snorkeling skills to feed on shellfish and other tasty seafood. As you can see in this video, the adorable little simians swim effortlessly along the bottom of the water, scanning the seafloor with their keen eyes for their favorite shellfish. Without masks or snorkels, these monkeys rival even the greatest human divers. With such underwater fishing skills, this tribe of monkeys will always be able to eat their fill, and thus prosper even more. Here is a sequence that will blow your mind, so fasten your seatbelts before takeoff. But the machine on which you are going to board is neither a plane, nor a helicopter, or even less a hang glider. It is rather a flying hammock. Yes, you heard me right. It's a hammock that flies, and that can transport you in a lying position to any destination. You may have heard of the legendary flying carpet from Aladdin's Tale, but unlike that carpet, this hammock is real. This unusual machine is in fact a drone specifically designed to hang a hammock in its center and can thus be piloted remotely or by the person who is quietly lying down. You just have to take a few drone piloting courses before using it. And above all, you have to be very careful because you certainly don't want to end up in the emergency room for having taken a nap on this cozy hammock instead of flying it. Subscribers, open your eyes wide because what you are going to see on this sequence is totally unpredictable. Filmed by an onlooker, the video shows us the meeting between a hungry alley cat and a large, well-fed and plump rat, which the feline would like to make his breakfast. But against all odds, the rat will prove to be tougher than expected, and it is with fierceness and ferocity that he will defend his old rodent skin. With each leap, the big rat will not only succeed in repelling the big cat's attack, but he will literally succeed in making him flee. The poor cat will even be chased relentlessly by the ferocious rat for a long distance and will certainly make him lose his appetite for rodents forever. Imagine you are a poor freshwater fish and your beloved little river has been literally cut in half by a dam. Whether you were a placid carp, a valiant salmon, or a ferocious pike, you will have a hard time crossing this gigantic hydraulic structure that stands before you like an impassable fortress. But don't despair, because an American company has thought of your misfortune and has designed for you the Providence Bridge, an ingenious crossing system for fish. Based on the old principle of the pneumatic tube, this curious invention will allow fishes stuck by dams or dikes to cross quickly and safely to the other side. The fish will only have to borrow this real aquatic Hyperloop in order to find their old beloved river. And that's not all, because this incredible system also allows to select invasive species and to redirect them to a tank where they will be isolated. These invasive fish will then be manually removed and returned to their natural environment. Let's make a small parenthesis if you want. If you like this video, don't forget to give us a like, to subscribe to the channel, and to activate the bell to receive all the notifications. Let's go on. Are you tired of all those endless massage sessions that all look the same and that are, for the most part, deadly boring? Then maybe you should try the Dao Liao, which literally means massage with a knife. This ancient massage technique comes from Taiwan, where it is renowned for its multiple virtues. But you will have to be very brave if you want to enjoy it, because as its name indicates, this massage is not done with hands or even with feet, but with real butcher knives. The masseuse, well trained in the use of these sharp weapons, will give you a massage with them without, of course, causing the slightest scratch, or almost. But if you find that the practice of a massage with mini katanas is largely far-fetched and rather dangerous, you should know that these knives are chosen on purpose because they absorb the negative energies of your body. By being kneaded by these blades, you are rid of all the stress and toxins that you had accumulated before the session. You will leave this massage parlor totally relaxed and refreshed, thanks to the amazing power of the blades and of the Dao Liao. Las Vegas is undoubtedly the gambling capital of the world, and its countless hotels and casinos attract tourists from all over the world. But not all visitors are welcome in the city, especially if they have antennae and mandibles and arrive by the millions. Indeed, swarms of peregrine crickets invaded Las Vegas in 2019, emerging by the thousands from the surrounding desert. The winged insects then formed clouds over the city, covering even vehicles and entire buildings and creating a real state of psychosis among the poor inhabitants. They must have believed in a divine punishment or a new plague of Egypt, while they all took shelter from this extremely voracious invader. The swarms of locusts were so dense and huge that they could even be detected by the radars of the Nevada Weather Station. Fortunately for the people of Las Vegas, these locusts are not really big fans of casinos, preferring the appetizing leaves of shrubs and other vegetation. The clouds of insects finally disappeared from the city after a few days and were lost in the immensity of the desert. You must have seen one of those commercials that are constantly on TV and that praise the merits of a famous energy drink that's supposed to give you wings to the ones who would drink it. Of course, you have to take the slogan at face value because unless you transform yourself into a winged mutant from the X-Men or offer yourself a jetpack for your birthday, you will certainly never reach the stars. But if your heart is as strong as that of Australian skydiver Felix Baumgartner, you can still try free-falling from space. And for that, you won't need to take a sip of this energizing mixture to make you grow wings, because all you need is good equipment and a good dose of courage. The Australian skydiver managed to rise 38,969 meters above New Mexico in the United States using a shuttle attached to a helium balloon. From this height, the Earth appears perfectly spherical, and the immensity and darkness of space are terrifying. Felix Baumgartner then executed a free fall of a total duration of 9 minutes and 3 seconds, reaching the incredible speed of 1,357.6 kilometers an hour, or Mach 1.25. Defying all the laws of elementary physics, the intrepid Australian was finally able to open his parachute at the last moment, ensuring a perfect landing. Get out your scarves and make sure you're wearing a hat, because with this sequence, we are going to take you for a stroll in a city literally built of ice. The Harbin International Ice and Snow Festival, which takes place every year in China, brings together visitors from all over the world to enjoy this fairy tale-like spectacle. While walking in the streets paved with ice of this marvelous city, you will be able to admire the most spectacular and gigantic sculptures ever made by man. You will have the opportunity to visit real castles and other superb ice palaces from the inside, just as if you were transported for a moment in the heart of the universe of Frozen. And to conclude this moment of enchantment, you can always take a tour of the city on bicycles specifically designed for ice, or if you prefer, in real sleds harnessed to Santa Claus. We already showed you the City of Ice earlier, so here is now the City of Printed Circuits and Computer Diodes. This fabulous model of the Manhattan District in New York was indeed made only from old motherboards of recycled computers and other pieces of used electronics. Zimbabwean artist Zaid Mink spent more than 3 months collecting and gluing these myriad pieces together to create this precious replica of Midtown Manhattan, one of New York City's most iconic neighborhoods. The 17-year-old student built this work of art for a school project and used, among other things, more than 11 processors, 27 motherboards, 15 batteries, 3 hard drives, and more than 13 floppy drives. The result is incredibly lifelike, especially since the young artist crafted his work with an extremely meticulous eye for detail, consulting websites such as Google Maps and Wikipedia, for example, to obtain ultra-precise data on the height of the buildings. The attention to detail is omnipresent on this magnificent model, so much so that when you admire it, you will feel like a giant King Kong facing a tiny New York. Modern art can be loved or hated, but at least it has the merit of leaving no one indifferent. Look at these monumental sculptures by the hyper-realistic Australian artist Hans Ronald Mueck. Meticulously crafted in silicone and polyester resin, these ghastly works of art represent decadent human bodies of gigantic dimensions. These nightmarish sculptures of obese and aging naked men indeed represent the extremely morbid version of the Australian artist. These bodies sculpted in resin, most of which appear in the simplest form, are all marked by suffering and the torments of life. When you visit an exhibition of Ron Muke's work, you will see an extremely unhealthy representation of the human being and of the irredeemable decay of bodies and minds. It is therefore not surprising to feel literally oppressed by this quasi-immoral work. So, a word of advice: prefer a good film in the cinema, or a gallery with slightly more cheerful works. Unless, of course, you want to fall into a depression, similar to that of this artist and his scary sculptures. And that's it for today. Which of these 15 totally unbelievable but true sequences impressed you the most? Tell us in the comments below. And if you liked this video, don't forget to put a like and subscribe and activate the notifications. See you tomorrow at the same time on the same channel for new discoveries out of the ordinary.